So Palworld has kind of fallen from grace a bit in recent times. The game, infamously known for copying Pokemon's homework a little too closely, is facing a huge lawsuit from Nintendo declining player numbers and game-breaking updates. What began the year as Steam's top-selling game is now a cautionary tale, which makes it all the more hilarious that I stumbled across this Instagram ad. Despite the ad being pretty insufferable, like, why do Instagram ads always feel the need to put like 20 grunts and groans and screams in there? The game itself piqued my interest, because it was pretty clear, at least from the ad, that KewlbiVerse was a ripoff of Palworld, which in and of itself was already a ripoff of Pokemon. Monster catchingception, if you will. But it turns out that KewlbiVerse isn't the only game to have liberally copied Palworld in the wake of the game's success. Today let's take a look at two Pal-like games, KewlbiVerse and Miraibo Go, to see if they're as awful as they look or hidden gems. Before we get into things, I just want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, infinitynikki. infinitynikki is a cozy open world experience where you can explore the bright and whimsical world of Maryland, all while collecting gorgeous outfits. There are so many incredible outfits in all kinds of styles for Nikki to collect, and even outfits for her cute friend Momo. Once you unlock an outfit, you can even mix and match elements for the ultimate personalized look. Some of these outfits even grant special powers like floating, gliding, and shrinking, so you can explore new places. infinitynikki offers a cozy, peaceful open world experience with no pressure to fight. Fish, catch bugs, groom animals, and platform through the beautiful world of Maryland at your own pace. Dungeons, puzzles, and minigames offer big challenges and bigger rewards as you collect items to help you craft new outfits and unlock new abilities. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of dress-up character customization games, and I also love open world exploration and cute animals and cozy games and platformers, so this is literally like my absolute dream game. infinitynikki has officially launched and is available to download on PC, PS5, Google Play, and the App Store using the link in the description. Please check it out and follow the game's social media for updates. Thank you so much to infinitynikki for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into things. So Palworld is kind of going through it at the moment. Less than a year ago, it was the #1 played and sold game on Steam. Now it's not even in the top 50 on the global Steam charts. This screenshot, taken just after the game came out, shows an online player count of 2 million. Right now it's sitting at just over 20,000, which is nothing to sneeze at obviously, but it's hardly reaching those record-breaking highs anymore. And a lot of this can be attributed to the waxing and waning of popularity that every game experiences. There's usually a big boom in players at the start, especially with a viral game like Palworld, which slowly tapers off as the hype dies down. However, it can also be attributed, at least in part, to the lawsuit that Nintendo slapped Pocket Pair with. The lawsuit was strange, to say the least. Much has been made of Palworld's designs and their striking similarity to official Pokemon designs. I talked about all of this in my Palworld video from a while ago, as well as a bunch of other similarities between Palworld and not just Pokemon, but other games like Breath of the Wild and Ark Survival Evolved. It's a whole thing, and whether Palworld is guilty of stealing or just harmlessly taking inspiration is a hotly debated topic. But in September of 2024, Nintendo weighed in on that debate by suing Pocket Pair for 10 million yen, which may sound like a lot, but in reality is only around 66,000 USD plus additional late payment fees, and for a game with tens of millions of sales, that's kind of pocket change. However, Nintendo is also seeking an injunction to halt sales of the game in Japan, which would obviously put a huge dent in their sales numbers. None of this came as a shock to me, as someone who spent hours poring over the entire PAL deck and comparing the designs to Pokemon, as well as looking over 3D model comparisons of the two. There is no doubt in my mind that Palworld directly copied parts of, if not entire designs from Pokemon. But what did surprise me were the patents that Nintendo accused Pocket Pair of infringing on. They weren't any specific Pokemon designs or models, but instead 3 very vague, random, and quite frankly ridiculously common game mechanics. The first patent outlines a mechanic where the player character aims and fires an item at a character in a field, triggering a combat state. Diagrams included in the patent show an example of a character throwing a Pokeball at a creature. The second patent is something about being able to capture creatures in the wild in an open world setting, and the third patent is for the ability to ride various creatures in an open world and transition seamlessly between them. Patent analyst Florian Mueller claimed that the lawsuit was a clear case of bullying on Nintendo's part. From a Game Rant article on the lawsuit, quote, Mueller's fundamental argument is that none of the patents Nintendo claims Palworld has infringed describe any kind of technological innovation. Instead, they cover systems for capturing creatures and riding on them, mechanics that Nintendo itself acknowledged already exist in other games as part of its filings. Their only innovative elements are related to game mechanics which are unpatentable everywhere in the world, Japan included. So yeah, the situation is pretty ridiculous to say the least, and Pocket Pet is fighting back against it, but it seems like it's already taking a toll on the game itself. A recent patch removed the ability to aim and strategically spawn pals where you want, instead auto-spawning them next to you, which regularly causes them to get stuck in walls and on objects. It's widely believed that the update is connected to the lawsuit, with one Reddit user writing on the subreddit, quote, one of the staff on Palworld's Discord general discussion board straight up said that in his personal opinion people should maybe go play something else till the big December patch. Between that and the release of the patch without comment, I'm guessing their hand was forced legally and they had to toss out a rough compliance patch till they can come up with a new proper replacement. How Nintendo v Pocket Pair will resolve remains to be seen, but all of this is to say Palworld isn't exactly the up-and-coming titan of the gaming world that it was at the start of this year. It's going through a bit of a rough period to say the least, so the fact that I got an ad for KewlbiVerse, which is ripping off Palworld, which is currently going through a lawsuit because they are ripping off Pokemon, is kind of hilarious, and it's what made me want to talk about it today. KewlbiVerse describes itself as a chill monster tamer game for mobile, specifically Android, which is currently in closed beta testing in limited regions. Players start by customizing their character with skin tones ranging from white to off grey. The darker skin tones look fine on the character models, but this color palette is giving me flashbacks to Picru. The game then launches into a cutscene explaining the lore of the KewlbiVerse. You are the Pathfinder, tasked with befriending all of the creatures known as Fabi who inhabit the lands. When you have the power of every Fabi, you will become the guardian of the world, so, you know, pretty standard stuff. After this, the game begins. The tutorial throws you right in, directing you to catch a Fabi on the path just up ahead. Catching mechanics in this game are a bit unique. Could this be because they're scared of getting sued into the ground by Nintendo for that infamous ball throwing patent? I don't know. First, you have to get close to a Fabi and then drag a buddy card, this little icon here, onto it before releasing it to throw. A percentage appears next to the card showing your chances of a successful catch, or befriend I guess. The first Fabi in the tutorial is called Chibba, a little teal squirrel creature, and what the hell did he just ask me? The next Fabi, Dogsworth, introduces harvesting as a mechanic. He wields a pickaxe and mines rocks which produce raw stone. The player can then use the stone and a variety of other materials throughout the world to craft weapons and items for their base. Finally, we come to the last Fabi of the tutorial, Firix, the Firefox Pokemon. Fabi. Yeah, we're literally introduced to Firix with a cutscene of it shooting fire out of its ass so hard that it flies up into the sky. I take back everything I said, this is goaty. The tutorial ends at the player's home base with quests walking the player through crafting, base building, and gardening. The quests do continue after this point, but once you learn how to craft buddy cards and run your base, you can kinda take it from there. The general gameplay loop is about what you'd expect. You catch new Fabi to fill your Fabiary and get new powerful abilities to help you harvest and craft better base items and weapons, which in turn helps you to catch stronger Fabi with better abilities, etc, etc. Add in some gacha elements and in-app purchases because this is a mobile game, and that's basically KewlbiVerse. So, firstly, the things that I like. I went into KewlbiVerse expecting it to be hot garbage. I mean, come on, did you see that ad? Can you blame me? Honestly, I was surprised that it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Is it good? I wouldn't necessarily call it good, but does it have its merits? Yeah, I think so. I like the art style. I think it's a lot more soft and cute and cartoony than Palworld, not just with the creature designs, but also the world and environments. Palworld feels like being plonked in a hyper-realistic Unreal Engine map with super cartoony models randomly placed throughout, whereas KewlbiVerse actually feels a lot more cohesive. The character models, creatures, environments, and even the models for various base items and landmarks around the world all have this cute, soft style, and it creates a far more cohesive and immersive world. It also feels a little bit more appropriate, like when the Phoebe's health reaches 0, they faint rather than straight up dying like they do in Palworld, which feels a lot more consistent with the concept of catching cute little fluffy creatures. It's also a small detail, but I like the bases. I like that there are these stylish little house models and that it's already kind of set up for you when you get there. It feels super cozy and like you're actually establishing a nice little base of operations. I also think KewlbiVerse is a lot better at introducing players to the game. Palworld just kind of launches you straight in with a few basic quests and a dream, but KewlbiVerse actually has a tutorial with cutscenes and explanations for how to play, so for that I have to give it credit. And the Phoebe, well, honestly, some of them are kind of cute. Worry and Pom is this fluffy creature with a little ghost pepper on top of its head, which does all the work, and its special ability allows you to actually play as the Phoebe itself and walk around being all cute and stuff. It's silly, it's novel, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's fun and unique. Burry is a little pastel donkey which you can use as a mount. Saladrake is like this vegetable fruit dragon thing, which is epic. I fuck with this design heavy. A lot of KewlbiVerse's designs are very simple, just basic animal and plant inspired creatures with a little fantasy twist, and honestly they work because they're simple. It's the more high level boss Phoebe where things start going off the rails. When KewlbiVerse starts adding detail to their models, it starts to look like shit. Like, what is this? This looks like one of my Skylanders from when I was like 12. It doesn't fit at all with the game. This one is literally called Tankenstein. Like, it looks like a Unity store asset that they just randomly threw in the game. Forestine is another bad design. There's just so much going on here and none of it is good. Wongrove is like a sexy Decidueye with creepily human proportions and an anime face, in case that was something you wanted. You know, there's gonna be someone out there who's into it. McCule is just a bird with hair. Worstan was very clearly designed by a very passionate furry artist, because look at those chiseled abs. I swear this design is like 10 times more detailed than any other. Same with Cold Snap. Like, I need to know which one of you made these freaks. The one thing that I will give KewlbiVerse, despite some absolutely fugly designs, is that it doesn't actually try to copy Pokemon or Palworld, which I was very surprised by. The designs are actually all pretty unique for what they are, but that doesn't mean that they haven't copied a bunch of other aspects from Palworld and other games. So let me just list off a quick list. The GUI and menu design and overall aesthetic is similar, with this sort of modern glowy blue tech look. The Fabiary is just a Pokédex slash Pal deck, and similarly to Palworld, Fabies have unique skills that can help you in the open world, like healing, flying, damage buffs, etc. The combat mechanics are also pretty similar, just adapted for mobile. You can feed, pet, and lift Fabies, which are the exact same interactions you can have with Pals in Palworld. It's a really small and seemingly inconsequential detail, but I think it really shows a direct lifting of mechanics. It's so subtle but so specific. Fabi help you to build and maintain your base, grow crops, and build structures in a very similar way mechanically to Palworld. Even the way the Fabi water crop patches is almost identical. You can also build Fabi beds and hot springs, which again are identical to items you need to build for your pals in Palworld. So yeah, KewlbiVerse is an unabashed and shameless ripoff of decently low quality, but it's not as bad as I expected. Miraibo Go, on the other hand, is absolute trash. Miraibo Go is an open world monster catching survival game for Apple and Android phones, which literally describes itself as pal-like on its website, which is a .org for some reason. And watching the trailer, yeah, it's literally just Palworld. It has the same crafting and building mechanics, the same combat down to the guns, bows and arrows, dodge rolls, and these whirlwind attack things, the same circular catch percentage bar. The creatures are literally called pals in some promotional images. Seemingly identical character animations, the exact same teleport point statues, even down to the design, and a bunch of pals that are ripped straight from Palworld. Seriously, a bunch of these creatures share the exact same models and animations as pals, just with different colors and patterns and with these god-awful cheap cel-shaded lines. I know it's a stylistic choice, but it looks bad. If Palworld was already pretty bad and KewlbiVerse was even worse, then Miraibo Go is the creme de la creme of Pokemon-inspired slop. Also, I can't not mention this, when the game was first announced, it was called Petocraft. That's Petocraft, okay? Pet. quite literally the worst name for a game that I've ever heard. I don't even know what to say about this. This is why it's important to say your game's name out loud before you trademark it. Hilariously, their very first post on Instagram was on August the 16th, and the post announcing they were renaming the game was on August the 22nd, so it didn't take them long to start walking it back. I'm assuming they got some feedback from players who didn't want to be seen playing a game called Pedocraft. After a single month of the service being up, Miraibo Go announced that it would be shutting down in January of 2025 due to adjustments in game development and operations strategies. However, it's widely believed that it's due to some sort of copyright dispute. Miraibo hasn't released any specific details as to why they decided to shut down after a single month, but they did ask for forgiveness from their players, which implies some sort of fault on their part, i.e. stealing a bunch of artwork and models and animations and basically a whole game. A lot of fans on the subreddit, which exists for some reason, have been speculating that Nintendo or Pocket Pair have pursued legal action against the game, but there's no proof of that, so for now it's just a theory. Either way, honestly, with how lazy and bad the game is, I don't think it was going to last long either way. In conclusion, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to talk about the current state of Palworld and all of these goofy imitators that have been popping up, but I do think that there's something to be said about its overall impact on the monster catching genre. Pokemon has pretty much had a monopoly on it for the last few decades, and I'm not saying it's the only monster catching game. I know the genre is very wide and diverse, and there are a lot of great games within it, but none that have rivaled the mainstream popularity of Pokemon. But then in came Palworld with its record-breaking debut, tens of millions of players, and insane media coverage. And while it's not quite riding that same high today, its impact is really starting to show. More studios and small developers are dipping their toes into the genre, making open world Pokemon style games, rocking the boat. I don't think that Palworld or KewlbiVerse or Miraibo Go are going to topple Pokemon or anything, but I think it's kinda healthy for a franchise to have a bit of rivalry to stop the games from getting stale and repetitive, which they kinda have been as of late. Personally, I'm actually kind of excited to see what Pokemon/Palworld-esque games come out in the future, and who knows, maybe one of them will be that hidden gem that we've been looking for. Thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it. I really hope that you enjoyed that topic. I just saw these ads and they were so like bonkers. Like Palworld is already pretty ridiculous, but these were just on a whole other level and I really wanted to talk about them. I know this isn't like a deep topic or anything like that, I just kind of wanted to do like a silly video for the end of the year, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If any other big like Pokemon Palworld like games come out in the future, I am so curious to check them out as well, especially one that's on the tier of Palworld. I kind of live for like the drama in this like Pokemon ecosystem and the games that are popping up, so I don't know, I'm keen to cover it in the future. Let me know your thoughts if you would be keen for that as well. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched my videos, everyone who's supported the channel, who's subscribed, who's left a comment, literally anyone who's just been here. Like, I'm sure for a lot of you guys this year has had ups and downs, but I just love being able to make videos. It's my passion. I just love it. I love being able to talk about this stuff. I love reading your comments, and I'm so lucky to get to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. It's hard not to ramble when I don't have a script, but I just hope you guys know how appreciative I am. As of the publishing of this video, I'm currently, I think, like 9 or 10,000 subscribers away from 1 million, which is crazy. I can't even comprehend that. It's just absolutely crazy. Just thank you. You guys are awesome. You guys have always been awesome and will continue to be awesome, I assume. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I love you guys. Thank you so much for an amazing year, and I'm really excited to keep making videos next year. Okay, bye. Thank you for watching the video. Bye! A huge thank you to my Garfield overlords over on Patreon: Sheriff Whiskey, Xavier Arajo, Woljix, Willow Moth, Trouser Mouse, Usurpius, Eminem, Bunzo, Sophie Jane Dewberry, Simon, Katrina Likes 5e Stuff, Dr. Worm, Say Marie Brayley, Stanley, Dozo Blint, Hazy, Zoe Mars, Matt LRJ, Michelle Olsen, Kia J. Parker, A Riddle Wrapped in an Enigma Hidden by a Question Mark, Skisa, Astrian Vortex, Tonla, Jar the Bar, Vivian Valencia, Jet Secret, Helm Hamburger Hand, Ocean Gremlin, Dana Homegardener, Jesse Chisholm, Blue Mayfeld, Prize from Traveling Tavern, Meridia, and Doug. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. It means the world. If you want to join these guys over on Patreon, the link will be in the description. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for the amazing year, and I really hope to see you next year in the next one. Bye!